Beverly Hills. You found for Love and Chocolate with Mr. and Mrs. Truffles.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. It's so good to be back in the studio.
It really is. But we had a pretty wonderful vacation, didn't we?
We did. We took the little trip we talked about in the last episode, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was just sweet and simple, and we just went right up the coast of Ventura.
Yeah, not too far, but really good surfing.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, Mr. Truffles and Phineas got some good waves in.
We did.
Yeah, it wasn't easy to find a wetsuit to fit a long-haired mini dachshund.
But he insisted. It's like, Daddy, if we're going to do this, you're going to find me a wetsuit, and it's going to fit properly.
We didn't want him to be cold.
No. But he rocked that wetsuit, and he was quite the surfer.
Yes, and it was very overcast most of the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yep, although Tuesday night.
Yes, something happened Tuesday night.
Special happened.
When the clouds started to part and the full moon shone through.
Yeah, it was so bright.
Beckoned us to a moonlight walk on the beach.
It's like we gotta bring the dogs. Let's hit the beach, sweetheart.
Just the two of us walking along hand in hand with our three little dogs traipsing behind.
They were so happy to be with us. They loved the beach. And then off in the distance, we saw something glistening.
Yes, we saw something glistening in the moonlight.
Yeah. And so we realized as we got closer, this beautiful conch shell had picked up the light of the moon.
And so we picked up the shell.
Yeah.
And we held it to our ears.
And first, I thought I heard the waves of the ocean, just the sounds of the sea. But then we listened a little bit more closely, and this beautiful music started to play out of the shell.
It was magical.
It really was.
Yeah.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Oh, Mr. Truffles, I love that shell.
Beautiful. And, you know, as much as you wanted to take it with you, we left it on the beach, didn't we?
Yes, we left it for the next romantic couple to come along and find it.
Yeah, and have that shell sing to them, too. Speaking of romance, I think it's time for, Mailbag!
Okay, Mr. Truffles, well, what have we got in the mailbag today?
Okay, so this is from Lucky in Love. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Truffles, I am a 47-year-old divorced mother of two, and after 22 years of marriage, I'm finally out in the dating pool. Although I was somewhat reticent early on, I've now found this new chapter to be very exciting and invigorating. I met a gentleman 3 weeks ago that I'm really crazy about, but I'm not ready to close off all other channels. And then just last week, I met another man who I'm also feeling the feels for. Is it okay for me to continue to see both of them? I mean, it's only been 3 weeks with one and 1 week with the other. I don't feel like a commitment is necessary at this point, but do I need to tell them about each other at this juncture, or can I just let it play out? Well, okay, Lucky in Love.
Yes.
Look at you getting out there, girl.
Good for you.
Yes. I mean, we do have some rules. You know, they're not necessarily going to be your rules, but we have our own
They're
rules.
not hard and fast rules.
No, but
they're just guidelines,
they're
really.
guidelines to live by.
But I would say that I'm very happy for you that you are back out there and
Yes.
enjoying your single life.
Yeah, it sounds like she's really
embracing
having a good time.
it. Yeah.
And meeting some wonderful guys.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay for you to date as many guys as you like, just as long as you are not sleeping with any of them and that you're being honest with all of them, that you're out there dating other people.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just other than that, just be safe and
Just have fun.
have a great time.
Yeah. I think you're doing it right. I do, Lucky. And I think that when you meet that one guy, that one special guy, I just think you'll know. I think it'll hit you like a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, like a bolt of lightning.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for writing in, and best of luck. What else you got, Mrs. Truffles?
Okay, Mr. Truffles, well, what else have we in the bag today?
Let's see. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Truffles, my favorite aunt passed away last year and generously left me her entire estate, including a beautiful old home in Pasadena. Unfortunately, part of her estate includes a large number of cats, including an entire litter of Siamese cats that are only 5 years old. As much as I love the feline family she left behind, I find that it is interfering with my ability to find a boyfriend. The last few great dates I went on all seemed to turn tail once I told them about my burden. Have you any good advice for how I can honor my dear departed aunt and not also end up as a lonely cat lady spinster? Sincerely, Clara.
Well, Clara, that is a very interesting situation you find yourself in.
No, it doesn't sound perfect.
Well, first of all, deepest condolences on the loss of your beloved aunt.
Yes, that's
She sounds
hard.
like a wonderful woman. And congratulations on the beautiful new home in
Yes,
Pasadena for
that's
you.
a real gift. And that's her
And-
legacy that she's passing down, along with a lot of cats.
So sweet of you to take on that burden and care for her beloved little kitty family.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I can understand why that might be a little off-putting to some guys. It's like saying, I have 10 kids, like 1 or 2 cats. Most people aren't going to mind that, but
Yeah, it sounds
a
like
whole brood
gaggle
of cats.
or
Yeah.
something of cats.
Yeah, it's a clutter of cats.
A clutter of cats.
A whole clutter of cats sounds like a lot of work and
Yeah.
a big responsibility. I really think, though, that there is the right guy out there for you. I don't think you have to choose between caring for the kitties and finding love.
It might take a little longer, but he's out there.
Yeah, just be up front from the beginning.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think there's anything wrong with you rehoming a few of the
No.
kitties.
I think that's fine.
If you found them really wonderful people to love them and care for them, maybe reduce your burden a little bit.
Yeah, Clara, listen, I mean, there are a lot of animal lovers out there, and I'm sure, given the time and patience, you sound lovely, I bet you're going to find the right guy. Who knows? Maybe he comes to the table with a whole bunch of raccoons.
Yeah, or pet giraffes or
Yeah,
ostriches.
yeah.
Which wouldn't really be a great match for cats, but it could work.
Listen, never say never.
Were we helpful to her at all?
I don't think so.
Well, it is a very fuzzy situation.
Yeah, I'm going to be scratching my head for a long time on this one, sweetheart.
All right, Mr. Truffles. Well, why don't we talk a little bit about our delicious guests we're having on today?
Our very delicious guests, Dominic and Aggie DiBartolomeo, own what is probably our favorite store in the whole world.
Yes, the cheese store of Beverly
The
Hills.
cheese store of Beverly Hills.
It is a magical place.
It's been around for over 50 years. They just moved to Santa Monica Boulevard.
Which is probably the most beautiful store in Beverly Hills, even prettier than Toy Shirt. I
Oh my God.
love
It's
that new store.
they've done such a beautiful job.
Yeah.
And they do incredible cheeses, imported cheeses and meats and wines from all over the
Oh, yeah, their
world.
wine selection isn't very large, but it is the best of the best. I don't know how they do it, but every wine I've ever had from there is just spectacular.
And on top of that, Dominic has been making tapenades and sun-dried tomatoes for the better part of 20 years.
Yeah, it's an exquisite selection of delicacies.
Oh, yeah.
And they are an amazing, romantic, deeply in love couple.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're going to hear all about that.
Right when we come back.
We'll be right back with Dominic and Aggie.
For over 40 years, Toysher has been a staple in the Beverly Hills community. Like so many other families in the community, our family has had a long-standing love affair with Toysher chocolates. Over the years, we've formed traditions and memories around these extraordinary Swiss chocolates and the enchanting wonderland of fantasy truffle boxes inside our store. Today, our family is proud to be carrying on the Toysher tradition in Beverly Hills. All right, well, welcome back to the podcast. We've been accused of many things with this podcast. I don't think we've never been accused of being cheesy on the podcast, have we?
No, you did not
once.
just do that joke.
I did. So I want you to say something for me, sweetheart, okay? Say, DiBartolomeo.
DiBartolomeo.
No, say DiBartolomeo.
DiBartolomeo.
Okay, well, our guest couple are the DiBartolomeos. Dominic and Aggie, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
You're so...
Great pronunciation.
Did you like that?
Ew.
Yes.
Most people don't get that right
What I
away.
should have said was Pizzulo DiBartolomeo.
Pizzulo dash DiBartolomeo.
Maiden name,
Yeah.
Pizzulo.
Went from one long Italian name
Yes.
to a much longer Italian name.
That's so fantastic. Your parents must be very proud.
Oh, yes. They actually, yes, they are.
It's
They are.
what we call an upgrade.
It's great. Dom, it's so great to have you guys. I will say I met Dominic probably 15 years ago at the Beverly Hills Farmers Market.
You,
Yeah.
you
Oh my
remember
God.
meeting Dominic?
I do. I've known him for the better part of 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Although I want to say it might even be longer than that. But
You think
that's okay.
so?
We'll say 15
And
years
then-
just for the
yeah,
sake of
Yeah, it's
feeling
our
possible.
on.
bromance just grew from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bromance with Mr. Truffles. So, Mrs. Truffles, let's launch.
Let's
'Cause
get
these
into
guys-
it. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And we
yes,
are
thank you. We
super
love to be here.
excited to get into your story and hear all about how you two first met.
Okay. I will start with the story. I think it's a great story actually because it's a little bit of it's very random. Like I feel like we were meant
to
to
be.
meet and met as most
was
yes.
shared.
See, it was 2003.
Okay.
December of 2003. I sort of had an idea of what I was looking for and I wasn't going to settle. Everyone always says you will find it when you're not
least
looking for it,
expect it.
when you least
Yeah.
expect it or you're not looking for it. I had been working as a personal shopper. And
Who were you working as a personal
so
shopper for?
I was working with a woman named Dana Asher, and I know she's still around, so shout out to Dana.
Hi, Dana.
And she's the best. I had been working with her for maybe a year or so. I had shopped on Rodeo and Beverly Drive. I had, been up and down those streets a million times a day, buying, returning, this and that. I had never been in the cheese store of Beverly Hills. One day I had to go in there. I had to get a gift for somebody, for a client. Actually, it wasn't even cheese. It was what they call a chocolate girole?
A girole.
Right? Is that what you call it?
It's called a girole.
So it was a girole.
Okay.
I didn't even think I knew what that was.
I don't know what
so
that is.
I still don't.
it's like a shaver. It's a round.
Yeah, it's like you put a cheese or a piece of chocolate on it, and then you
Yeah, so
kind of put it in a circle, and it makes these beautiful little petals, either with the
You
cheese.
can create a flower.
or
Yes.
with the, yes, exactly right.
and what's that
exactly.
called?
A girole.
A girole.
It's actually Swiss.
So it was the girole.
Yeah.
I when I walked in, as you know, at Christmas time, the cheese store is completely packed. You could barely get in there. I made my way in there. I asked for the girole. Another gentleman helped me who had been there for many, many years.
Like before I even
His name
started.
is
This guy,
Rafi.
Rafi.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Rafi?
Yeah.
Okay. So Rafi helped me. I had to get a gift wrap. When I walked in, I did spot Dom at the end where his station was. For a split second, I thought to myself, oh, he's kind of cute. I'm like, he looks like he could be like part of my family. He looks like he could be like
amazing.
a cousin or something.
Tall, dark, and handsome, hard to find.
But so like I kind of like eyed him, but I was so busy and I had no time. Gotta go. Got a million places to be. Got the Girol. I ordered it. Raffi said, can you come back in about 20 minutes to half an hour if you want it gift wrapped? We just, it's going to take a little time.
Yeah.
So I left, went back 30 minutes later. The store had cleared out. So when I walked back in, maybe there were even 2 or 3 people in the store. I walk in, out comes Dominic.
On a white horse.
Yeah, he just like walks out.
I had no idea you were there.
In his New York accent, says to me, "Oh, you're in, you're out. What are you doing? You're coming in, you're coming out. What, you're back now? What are you doing?" And I was like, "What?"
Raffi, who was helping her, was like, "Hey, you should probably come out and help this girl. She's beautiful."
I honestly was going to ask, is there like a secret code you guys give each other to the single guys? It's like, you're going to want to help this next.
Yeah, I mean,
he was doing a solid.
He was doing a solid.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it.
Because Rob's married.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, he's a very mysterious person.
He's the Gerard Draper.
Yeah.
So
But
anyway,
I never knew this until
so
way
he said,
later.
you should come out and help this girl.
Before you knew it, he was feeding me sun-dried tomatoes that he had just started selling at the store.
Which, by the way, is his love language.
Yes, it is. It is definitely his love language. Obviously, it works, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, here, try these sun-dried tomatoes. And wait, do you want to try these stuffed peppers?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." And try this cheese.
That
Flirting.
means you're in. You got 3.
I got a lot of samples. I grew up back east. I'm Italian. I grew up a certain way, and I always had this idea of who I would marry. Well, I always thought I wanted to try to marry a nice Italian guy.
Sweet.
I mean, you can ask my friends. I have my little checklist. It's a very funny checklist. From New York, Italian guy, Italian last name.
Let me cut this. I checked all the boxes.
And this is like even like.
I just saved us 40 minutes on the cast.
So we're talking as he's like feeding me. I asked him what his name was, and he said Dominic. So that even just saying Dominic, that's a very East Coast Italian name.
Yeah.
I knew right away. I thought he was like an actor. He was trying to be an actor, like on
model.
The Sopranos. Like, I literally thought he was an actor on The Sopranos. I said, "What's your last name?" And he said DiBartolomeo, and I was like, "No, it's not." And he's like, "Yeah, it is."
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
"Are you serious?" Now my mind's going like this. Like, what is going? This is crazy. We talked, and then I don't know. What did you say? You had like an Aunt Aggie or something?
I did. Because Aggie is not like a very common name. Like I actually did have an Aunt Aggie. Aggie is like an old school back in the day name. Like now it's like a little bit more popular, but
the finale of this was that I got my gifts to go, and then he said, "Would you like a loaf of bread to take with you?"
Oh.
Dom.
That was his way of saying, "I
Take a
love you
fresh
too."
loaf of bread with you.
That's
And I was like, "Oh, okay."
It's like old school, like the old country.
yeah,
That's what you do. Take a little bit.
And I was like, "Sure." And I had a million other places to go. I was like probably going to like Prada after that. And I'm like, okay, I just travel along with my fresh loaf of bread today. I took my loaf of bread and I walked out of the store, was like, that was interesting. Called my best friend and I went, I think I just met someone kind of interesting, but we didn't exchange numbers.
So this was long ago. Okay, so I didn't have a cell phone at the time. Like there was like the back line to the cheese store. We had the back line of the cheese store that I would use as my answering service.
Okay.
But anyway, we just didn't exchange numbers. I walked out. I thought to myself, well, I know where to find him.
Sure.
So I'm going to have to go back.
Yeah. So if I can back up, please. Obviously, you were interested. You don't just give random loaves of bread to women, right? Okay. So, but in your mind, were you thinking I should have gotten her number, or that's inappropriate, or?
Well, it was kind of interesting. So I probably shouldn't have gotten her number, but isn't there like there's like some 3-day policy? You don't take the number. You do. I honestly I don't know. There was like
What books are you reading?
There was like a dating.
Hold on, Mrs. Truffles is weighing. Mrs. Truffles is definitely weighing in.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but I am 5 years older than him.
Okay.
So at the time, he was, 27?
Yeah.
Just a boy.
And he had just broken up with his college girlfriend.
Oh.
I think he was just like, oh,
This was just
girl's,
another
like,
beautiful
cute.
girl hitting on me.
Right.
I definitely think I was the more like flirtatious one.
Very forward, as we say.
But that's probably why I even liked him more. He
wasn't-
just was like
no
not
hardcore
trying
press.
too hard. He
I was
just
trying to
kinda-
start a sun-dried tomato business. I didn't have time for this.
Yeah,
Just a little
he was
loose.
just like funny and nice, not something that you run into. He was definitely like straight out of East Coast.
Yeah.
So how did the next meet have to go back?
So part 2, that was a Thursday when I met him.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back to the store.
To
so I
see
said
him?
to myself,
To see him, or
Yes.
to go back to see if at that time I didn't know if he had a girlfriend. I didn't know if he was married. I was very weary. Like, who knows? This guy, he could.
Sure.
He seemed great, but you never know. Do you remember back in the day there was the bagel place up the street, like next door to like Coffee Bean?
yeah.
No, St. Urbain.
St. Urbain, that's right.
So I used to go to St. Urbain every morning and get my little bagel. I met him on a Thursday. I believe it was Monday. So I said, I'll let a couple days go by.
Okay.
It was that following Monday, got my bagel, was walking down the street, and I was going to go back in. I remember looking down and thinking to myself, I started chickening out, and I was like, I'm not going to go back in there. I'll do it another day. I'm just not today. And I was looking down, and I was walking, and I was literally talking to myself. As I'm starting to walk past the cheese store, I look up, and he's
There I am
standing
on my horse.
He's standing
coming north on Beverly Drive.
He's standing on the sidewalk outside of the cheese store with two other guys.
Yeah, Alfredo and Anthony.
We still know. Basically bumped into him.
Wait, like just shooting the shit outside?
Yes, he was just...
Yeah, we're just hanging out. Like, we're just
Hanging
like
out.
cars are going by.
He
We're
was
saying
just
hello to
shooting the
people.
shit,
We're just
and he, in,
normal, you know.
in my path. Like,
Yeah, like the old neighborhood. Exactly.
and I literally was looking down. I just remember lifting my head and seeing him right there, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is crazy.
He's so much better looking this close up. That's what she was telling herself.
I kind of walked up top, hi, and he looked at me and he went, Aggie, right? So I was like, oh, he remembered my name.
Dumb. Oh, good on you.
Which was very good. Which was very
Oh,
good.
come on.
Like I said, I had an Aunt Aggie, so it was like you don't hear
Well,
those
don't-
names out in
listen,
L.A.
don't
But
kill the moment.
oh
Just-
no, but also too, like this beautiful woman comes up to you, taps you on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Again, just like the third time it happened to me that day. I'm just kidding.
So we started talking. So he had his little notepad in his apron. He took my number down. I was happy. I was like, okay, he got my number. Meanwhile, a week goes by. I don't hear from him.
Oh no.
Well, there's a rule, right? It's like a 3-day rule.
Why
No,
are you
no,
reading
no.
those rules?
Dumb.
No.
Like,
Newly single, so I really didn't know what was
so
going
you
on.
were
And by
like
the way,
trying to-
I legit was probably working, like back then I worked a
Yeah.
ton. And Christmas
Sure.
was like kind of nuts, because like
He
you're
wasn't even
working like
thinking
literally
about
like
But you're
20-hour
interested.
days.
Yes, pretty girl.
1,000% I'm
Sweet, right?
interested. Yes,
so
of course.
Were you playing it cool? Is that what you were doing?
He was not trying to play it cool. He just was super busy
Okay. Yep.
and just wasn't really thinking about it.
No, he was. He was like, oh, there's a 3-day rule, but in Christmas I have 7 days. But if it's a Sunday, then I've got 8.
I wasn't that upset or annoyed about it. It didn't bother me.
Okay.
So I had a friend who was a personal chef, and she had to go into the store. She said, oh, I'm going in the cheese store today. I got to go get some. Oh, I go, that guy John works in there. Tell him I said
I think she
hi.
said Adonis. She didn't say guy, she said Adonis. I
But anyway,
remember a little bit
so
differently.
She goes, oh, yeah. Okay, he didn't call you yet? I'm going to say something to him. I'm like, well, just tell him I said hi. You don't have to get all crazy about it. So she said, are you Dom? He said yes. She said, are you going to call my friend or what? So he was like, hold on. I have her number.
I pulled
He
out that little
called
notepad that we spoke
me
about.
Yeah.
on the spot while she was in the
she was
store.
there. Oh, okay.
Okay, now if you could have like cameras on like where
Yeah.
we all were
Yeah.
at the moment.
Right.
He was in the store. I was at my apartment in Los Feliz. I was getting ready for a Christmas party.
Yeah.
I missed his call. You left me a voicemail. My friend's name, I said, he left me a voicemail. Listen to it. So she listens to the
Before
voicemail.
you listen to
and
it.
he left the cheese store line, the number.
Yeah.
Please call
And
between
I
10 and
think-
6.
Did you...
Monday through Saturday, closed Sundays.
He had a roommate. It was a girl chef, right? Why didn't he leave a cell phone? Why is he leaving me the cheese store number? Why is he leaving me a landline number? Does he have a girlfriend? You start thinking all these
my
things.
God.
I don't call him back because I'm going to a party. And my friend deleted the message.
What?
So you lost the
So I lost the numbers.
But you knew you
so
could
I
call the
couldn't
cheese
call him
shop.
back. That's what happened. He goes, oh my God, I just deleted it. And she goes, I deleted it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And so at first I was like, oh no. And then I was like, well, that's probably better because it doesn't seem like I'm too available. I was like, I got to go back to the cheese store now. So I did.
Another return.
I walked into the cheese store. There was nobody in there. He was at his station. I walk in. I was, hi. And he's like, oh, you lost your chance. Forget about it. You didn't call me back. Lost your chance.
And this was past
Too
3
bad.
days for the
and now,
audience.
no. I just want to come and say hi. And I'm like starting to get really embarrassed and blush. I just wanted to get out of there. As I was doing that, I was like literally backing up and tiptoeing out the door. I was halfway up and he's like, but wait, what are you doing tonight? Oh, nothing.
I had a cancellation, guys. Come on. I'm kidding. That's
And
not
then he's
funny.
like, oh, do you want to meet for a drink later tonight?
Hey.
All right.
And then that's the story. And
where did you guys meet
that
for a
was-
drink?
Okay, can I at least,
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
at least
jump
shed one
Yes,
sort of fact
sure.
that I
Yes.
remember from
Or
this
two.
whole thing?
Yes.
Trocadero Sunset. And here's what's interesting. So I went to a Trocadero on Sunset. Still
Yeah,
there,
okay.
still there, yeah. I had been invited to this Scotch tasting, so I had a little bit of Scotch, and I went to this bar. By the way, like didn't have two sticks to rub together. Like I was probably one of the few guys that took the bus in LA. Didn't have a car, or whatever. I wound up having do we have a glass of whiskey? We managed to meet before she even got there. I had a glass of, and I remember this very well, Johnny Walker Blue It was the only first and last time I've ever ordered that drink. That credit card statement may have gone to my parents. I don't even know if I was paying for it at the time.
It's
That's
a
how broke I
$50
was.
shot, isn't it?
Yeah, well, back then it was probably like maybe 45.
Yeah.
But still, like expensive, right?
Yeah.
Like I took a shot. I was waiting for it to come, and then
I showed up, but you lived right down the street.
I did. I lived down the street. I live in West
He
Hollywood.
walked.
So,
So
like,
he.
of
so
course
said,
I walked.
So
I didn't
he
have a
walked,
car.
but I love the way he put it. He goes, I'm a true New Yorker. I don't have a car.
Oh, good.
Take the
on
bus.
you. Yeah.
I was like, that's a real smooth way
That's hot,
to put
right?
that. But I don't have a car. Yeah, I
Couldn't
like
tell
that.
I was making $8 an hour. The true New Yorker sounds way better than
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
He's saying the right
Okay.
things. Oh, my God.
But very charming, and we like hit it off. We had a drink. We had our first little kiss.
You had your first kiss that night.
We leaned across the table and
Across
had a
the
cute little
table.
kiss.
Wow,
She
that was bold.
jumped across the table, couldn't keep her hands off me. It was very awkward.
No, but how did that go down? So you guys are sitting there across the table. You're having some scotch.
No.
Okay,
No.
so you
I
had
probably
a
had
glass
like,
of wine,
yeah.
and you're
What
just
was my
sitting
drink back
there,
then?
and you're really connecting.
Probably
You're
white wine.
feeling the New York. You're feeling that kind of family, like you
Oh,
guys
it was like
are.
a 100%.
And
Love
so,
connection.
what
Phil.
made someone think they could lean across for a kiss? Like, how did that?
I don't even remember.
Despite
Sweet.
being this good looking, I'm very approachable.
Interesting, yeah.
So you were just looking at her across the table, and you're like,
Yeah.
she's gonna be receptive. I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
lean
I kind of
in.
remember saying, I bet
Yeah.
you want to kiss me.
What did you say?
I said, you probably want
Wait,
to
you
kiss me.
remember?
Remember, how could I forget?
Oh, yeah.
That's
okay.
good.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
It was one of those things where it was just so much fun, like hanging out. Like we legitimate had like a great time just hanging out. Like I wasn't thinking about anything else. Like it
Yeah.
was just like really fun because I can't really articulate it, but it's like when you felt like you know somebody but you really don't. Like
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are there across the table. You're having a drink. You are
Yes.
hitting it off like
Yes, it
like
was
you've never done with
very
anyone.
comfortable.
It's
Yeah.
just so good.
Yeah.
and
It was
it's
fun.
just
It
so
didn't feel like a
natural.
first time.
And so then you were just feeling so good about her reaction to everything you were saying.
it probably was a scotch, but yes.
Yeah, and you just said, "I bet you want to
wanna
kiss me."
right now.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool,
she
man.
leaned in, or you did?
I think we both leaned in like
Just kind of crossed the
like,
table.
went
Wow.
across. It was simultaneous.
And that was it. You guys you just knew that was it.
Yes.
Well,
That's
I did.
amazing.
Yeah. So
Fine.
good. Next steps.
So the night of Chocodero, our first time we got together, we had our little first kiss. I parked across, I think it's still there, Cabo Cantina. There's a parking lot above Cabo Cantina. I had parked there, walked across the street to Chocodero. Dom, his apartment, it was right down the street, right down Sweetser.
Yes, that's right.
After Chocodero, we went back to his apartment.
Nothing happened.
I wound up sleeping over there.
Whoa.
Okay, but it
Okay.
was super innocent.
Judge.
I am
I
a
get
good Italian girl.
Car got locked, so we didn't have a choice
So the
but
next
for her to like. There was
morning,
no
but
Uber then.
This is important to the story. The next morning, we got up. He walked me to the parking lot, and I specifically remember he put on his little beanie, and it was
Subway
the
Series.
Subway Series Mets and
Yankees,
Yankees.
Mets.
Oh.
So I'm a huge Yankee fan, and that is one of the things on my list.
Oh, he's got a
Of
Yankees
my
fan.
silly list checklist.
I like
was a Yankee fan.
Oh.
Wow, you found a Yankee fan in LA. That's amazing.
So exactly.
And
so
another
there was
box
all
to
these
check.
Yeah.
these little things. So he had this little beanie on in the morning with a Subway Series, and he took my hand, and we were walking up to the parking lot, and I thought to myself, I think this is going to be the one.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It's remarkable how much I hear from people in these stories, how they just kind of knew right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
that's
knew.
amazing.
So, Dom, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, please.
What were your thoughts at the same time?
We had such a great time. Like I was like, yeah, amazing. Like I thought she was incredible. I thought that we had such a natural relationship that it really like there was no nervousness. There was no. It was just like fun.
It was
No
just very
pretension.
easy. Yeah, it was just
No.
easy.
No putting up airs.
And the broad slept over the first night. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Like we
We did. We just like we hung out. It was amazing.
He made me feel very comfortable. I didn't feel
So
weird.
when you were sleeping in his apartment, did he let you have the bed and he took the couch, or how did that work out?
No,
Did you
he
just kinda
actually had
cuddle?
like a futon or something.
Uh-huh.
Remember, like our feet were like hanging off the futon, and he made some joke about our feet going into the closet.
You're both on the futon.
It was like a
because
bed
the couch
is a
and the bed
luxury
were one of the
apartment.
I do remember laughing.
Could be a couch,
I
could
remember
be a bed.
laughing so hard because like our legs were hanging off the futon.
By the way, we're 4'3".
So yeah, exactly. We're not really tall people. Like it was just fun. Yeah, I met him when he was making sun-dried tomatoes in a bowl,
Our
a
first date.
large bowl
In the back of the
in
So
the
you
back.
have not launched the farmer's market yet.
At the very beginning.
So
like,
When?
off
What
market.
year was your first farmer's market?
2004.
Yeah. Take my kids every Sunday to the Beverly Hills Farmer's Market.
So, and to put things in perspective,
Do you
I
wanna
was
hear
working
the-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working it. So I was like, that was like early on.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a car. So I started driving around and I wound up getting a convertible Bug, the triple cream nice.
This broad's got money.
Volkswagen bus.
Yeah, she's raking in the dough, and I'm
I was actually
barely
working-
scraping for a bus
Pizzulo,
pass.
let's do this.
I was working for the head of Sony Pictures at the time. I was at the farmer's market. We didn't know what we were doing. We put tables and bins and all this
Norbert
stuff.
was nice enough to let me use that little blockhouse at the cheese store.
Yes.
We pull up, I load up the bug, the
Yeah.
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
So we load up the thing and we take it to the Beverly Hills Farmers Market. Like I had to make 4 trips.
We made like 4 trips.
Yeah.
Taking out
Everyone
the
else
convertible
trucks
roof.
were showing up in a convertible bug. Oh my god, what are we
What did I
doing?
just get-
Oh, but
That's
that's
how
so
it started.
romantic. I mean, are you
It's
kidding
really
me?
a cute story.
Holy
Stay
shit!
with me from
what
the
a-
beginning.
I mean, but I love that. I mean, obviously you recognize that you adore and love him, but his potential as a businessman,
Yeah.
entrepreneur, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take this ride.
Like, I don't know. I just
The white
kinda,
horse.
Oh
Quickly.
my! Now it's just like a radio
Yeah.
flyer. He's bringing wheels, just wheels of cheese and sun-dried tomatoes on
Yeah.
his wagon.
And then,
But there's
yeah.
something so cute and endearing about a young man who just has a vision and is just willing to work as hard as it takes to make it happen.
Yeah,
And how
and
do you
never-
not like
you know.
fall for that? That's so charming.
Also, I'm also taken by the fact that, not to be disparaging, you're beautiful and you're
Yeah,
funny.
thank you very
okay,
much.
so together.
I have a face for radio, hence no video on this podcast.
But you were clearly more moneyed than he was, right? I mean,
Oh, God.
At the
She-
time, I was making pretty good money.
Pretty
for
good
the-
money.
what
She
I
was
doing.
crushing.
It just was like I said, when you kind of know, you know.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
And he was always attentive and respect. He was just a gentleman. You could tell he was very sincere. He just was trying to figure out what he was going to do. And plus, he was young,
Yeah.
but he wasn't like a partier kind of guy.
So Aggie, you kind of knew almost immediately
I knew
that he was
immediately,
the one.
and I was older than
And-
him, so I
and-
was just like, "Can we just get this
Come
going?"
on.
So from your side, when did you first realize that you were falling in love?
Kind of early on, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I think this girl's amazing. And then, when did you meet my parents?
That's
No,
when
I met your parents 4 months in.
he met my parents.
Our parents
so
are like,
close.
Yeah, his parents. I felt like they could be my aunt and uncle.
yeah, it's same thing, like vice versa. So it was crazy. Like her brother's a diehard Yankee fan, like the whole thing. So
Have you guys done 23andMe because they might actually be here?
yeah, we're afraid to do that.
I know.
Wait, I'm
Yeah, I'd like
curious.
to introduce you to my sister Aggie.
When did your parents meet each
So
other?
disturbing.
Our parents met each other.
They were visiting with their aunt and uncle,
There we go, my aunt and uncle.
and they went to my parents' house, and we had a big barbecue in the backyard.
How'd that go?
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Well.
So-
We're all sort of cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool because like I thought about it. I didn't have any money. I was trying to start a business. It's really hard to explain to a girl that you work at a cheese store.
But she knew that's where she met you.
Yeah, like I work at a cheese store. Like, who the hell works at a cheese store? Like, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a cheese store, right? Like, and she's like, no, Mom and Dad, like he works at a cheese store. Like she was excited about it, and I had a hard time explaining it. But you know, when you think
I don't know if I was excited about it, but you know.
she was thrilled. Trust me.
I mean, everybody gets excited about the cheese shop in
Yeah.
Beverly Hills. It's a pretty
if
exciting
you know
place.
the cheese store, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I really liked her. Like it wasn't. She didn't look at me for who I was or what my title was or what I had. She looked at me for me, and I realized that kind of early on. And I would say like a couple months into it, like we just I just wanted to hang out with her. I just wanted to be with her.
It flowed with you.
It did.
Right after our first date, we really were together ever since. We were always
true.
together.
We're just always together.
But yes, our parents love each other. Dads talk FaceTime each other like 5 times a day.
They're probably on FaceTime as we speak.
Yeah, that's so great.
Yeah.
So how did the engagement happen?
Of course, very traditional that I am. I asked her dad, I said, I have a couple of business options that I would love to run by. And her dad was working with Miracle Mile. Miracle Mile. And I said to Pizzullo, can we please have lunch? He was like, oh, okay, Dominic, sure. And I'll never forget this. Please, like, I would love, I have a couple of options in business. I would love to talk to you about it. Yeah, sure, Dominic. So we sit down, we talk. And I said, well, look, and by the way, I'll never forget this too, because it was my birthday. And I said, listen, I said, I would love to talk to you. It's actually not about business. Today's actually my birthday. And I would love nothing more than to ask your daughter in marriage.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
This would be the greatest birthday gift you can give me. And he literally turned back. Because I remember also, too, let me preface that by saying, I asked him if he would like a glass of wine. He turned me down because he was at work. Basically, I said, I would love to ask your permission to marry your daughter. And he was like, oh, Dominic, I wouldn't take the wine, but I'll take a shot of whiskey if you have one. It was really funny. It was really cute. So, and I had already bought the ring.
Wow.
I think I asked him on like a Monday or Tuesday.
What year is this?
Oh, 6.
Yeah, we're like 2 years in. He asked me when I was going going to do it? I was like, well, it was a Friday night. It was a Friday night. I would always work late. I asked Agnes, can you help me price out some wines and stuff? We had a friend who had a camcorder, and I hid it in a wheel of cheese. And I said, so basically, we have this camera, and Eric, who worked at the cheese store, I had him practice as a stand-in. So if Eric was Aggie, was standing up and I was kneeling down, we got the right camera angle. So I was like, Ag, please, please come in. We're going to price out some wines. We'll go have dinner afterwards. She came in and I said, can you please price out that bottle of Dom Perignon? So she opened up the box. Inside the box that the Dom Perignon comes in, I said, Aggie, will you marry me? And there I was sitting down with this unbelievably gorgeous cubic zirconia ring. We have it on video. We actually showed that. There's like clips inside to the wedding
proposal.
video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea this was coming?
I knew it was probably coming up, but all my friends were in on it, so they took me to happy hour before that. And then he said, let's just go to dinner. Yeah, I did not expect it at all.
Okay.
In fact, to the point where I didn't have my nails done. I didn't have any of that
so you
done.
did not see this coming. So you opened that box.
Like,
how long did it take you to understand what was happening?
When things go in like slow motion and you're kind of like, wait, what? Hold on a second. Am I reading this? Like, is this really happening? He was down on his knee. It was... yeah, it was kind of
Very sweet.
Cheese store.
In the cheese store.
listen,
I
I have a
in
video
the
of it.
spot where we met. It's
In the spot
basically
where
in
we
the
met.
spot where we met.
Right.
After the proposal, we shoot over, we beeline it. There was no dinner, obviously. We beeline over to our parents' house in Agora Hills, so we're hanging out with everybody. Everyone comes over. We have champagne. It's a beautiful night. The next day, we're getting up very early in the morning. We're going to head over, and I surprised her. We're going to Dana Point. I had great champagnes picked out. I knew the chef. We were having this whole elaborate thing. And if you know me, I have a good appetite. And that night, I did not have a good appetite. All of a sudden, the next thing I know, I'm sick. And less than 24 hours later, we're at Cedars because I'm getting my appendix taken out.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me about the wedding ring shopping. So how was that for you?
So
Did you know what she wanted? Did you?
So I called one of her best friends. I said, listen, I really want to go ring shopping. I don't know what style. I don't know anything about it. She's like, oh no, I know what she wants. And she took me to the whole thing. And actually it was really cool. Raffi Jewelers on Brighton.
Yeah.
I went in and I said, Raffi, here's what I want. I literally have pictures of him making her ring from scratch.
What?
So it's super cool.
Yeah, he's an artist.
So you had him design it from scratch for her.
Yeah. I mean, she knew the stone she wanted, but the whole setting and all that was designed from the beginning. I knew the diamond. I knew what I wanted. I knew all that. So
My mom had a square, I guess back in the day they called it a square emerald, I guess.
Okay.
It was just very simple, beautiful.
Pretty.
I used to, when I was a kid, I would put it on my finger and I always loved her ring so much. I sort of modeled it after her ring. Yeah.
Sweet.
we, fast forward and all of a sudden we're planning an unbelievable, amazing wedding in New York City.
How big was the wedding?
275?
Oh my
242.
God. Wow.
It was insane.
We got married church in his neighborhood that he went to grammar school at, a block away from his parents' house.
Oh, amazing. That's amazing.
We got married in
Staten Island.
Staten Island. Yeah, and it was a great wedding. I mean, that was like
It was really fun. We shipped all the wine from the cheese store. We had these beautiful big bottles of wine that, because we knew some wineries, instead of having them put a label on it, we blew up pictures of us as kids, babies and stuff. So we put those on all the tables, but that's what the waiters and waitresses opened to serve for the table. So you had like a big bottle that would serve 10 people, and we did that throughout red and white, and we had all the cheeses sent over and stuff. It was really cool.
We did. We had
and the food was great.
everything shipped.
It was Abigail Kirsch. She was an amazing kid. I don't even know if they're still around, but it was great.
The food was amazing.
Was there an immediate honeymoon?
We went to Anguilla and St. Bart's.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolling out, baby.
Yeah. Well, farmers markets, kids,
Yeah.
business, we're
$8
hanging
an
out.
hour. Yeah, you were throwing
Yeah.
down. How was that honeymoon?
It was great.
Fun. That was crazy. We stayed at like some really nice places.
We flew on the
been downhill since, I
6-passenger
gotta be
charter
honest.
plane that I didn't open my eyes for the 15 minutes that we were on there. Like
Married now 17 years?
it'll
whatever-
be 17 in
Yeah.
August.
Yeah.
August 7th.
So what
Third,
the...
sorry, August 3rd.
What is the glue? What keeps it fresh and zippy and
Yeah, what's your
fun?
little secret ingredient?
The business keeps things really interesting, exciting, fun. Every day is different.
Never dull, right?
He's always thinking of something new. He's never satisfied.
Incredible energy, this guy.
He has incredible
Yeah,
energy.
innovative.
Yeah.
So there's never really like a dull moment.
Yeah.
There's always different
Yeah.
going on. This is literally since the day I met him.
Do you have a standing date night? Do you take trips together?
Things are a little crazy now, right? Like we haven't been in the new location for not even a year yet. I'm still back in almost like what's like a startup mode. But anyway, I mean, we do have a fair amount. Our daughter's at that age now where she's going out with some of her friends. Right. We do spend a lot of the weekends, going to new restaurants and it's really fun. Like we're lucky in that regard, but we don't have a set night.
We like to do a little thing called a romantic weekend in the bag.
A romantic weekend.
And this is just a few little gifts for you guys. It doesn't have to wait for the weekend, but it's just kind of a fun little feature of our show.
So get in there.
Go ahead and get in there.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Let's go see. There's a giant red toy-shirt bag.
Yes.
Oh,
And no romantic weekend is complete without some fancy French champagne.
Yeah.
oh, come on, guys.
And you guys
This
know
is
good
fun.
champagne. Yes.
Okay,
no
so we got a bottle of
way.
champagne.
And then we've got
Wow.
And these are our cocoa and chocolate dusted almonds.
Oh, wow. I don't think I've ever had
Yeah,
this.
and all the almonds that Mr. Toysher uses are from Lübeck, Germany.
Lübeck.
Something very special.
Oh, that you're going to love.
Okay,
That's
this
the
is
The
sipper.
cocoa from the
Original
sipping chocolate that we
chocolate.
know Dom loves.
Loves it.
Yeah, so you can
Well,
make that
you
at
know,
home.
Dom has been bringing me Toy Share chocolates since we met.
I did
for
not know
every
that.
for every Valentine's
Before we knew each
Day.
other.
Before we knew each other.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, it's
Oh my.
and that's a fragrance called Hollywood and I put a little information card in there for you, but
Oh,
that
that's
is
great.
a commemoration
So well thought, guys.
of
Thank
the
you.
100th anniversary of the Hollywood sign.
yeah.
And that is an all pure natural loom candle with
Oh wow.
Oh my
pure
God.
essential oils.
That's right. And that's the money right
Oh,
there.
love and chocolate.
That's my body butter that I
love
make.
this.
Yeah, Mrs. Truffles
This
makes
is
this.
fantastic.
So
That's so
ev-
sweet. Thank
everything
you.
in there for
Thank
you
you so
guys to
much,
just have a
guys.
little romantic evening at home or a getaway.
We're gonna have fun with this.
Oh,
And
we're gonna
there's
have some
our
champagne
champagne truffles. I've
Signature-
had these are the
Yeah.
best. You just go.
I love them. I just
some of
bought them
these.
for you for Valentine's Day.
Thank you. This was so fun.
This was so nice. Thank you so much for having us, guys.
Absolutely. Well, listen, before we let you go, real quick, we would just like to hear if you have any advice to give for young people looking for love or starting out.
To say, like, you need to find someone who you truly get along with. All those other money and all those other things, they come along later on, and that's not the first thing you should be thinking about. It's more of the person, the relationship, the family. That's what's really important.
Your relationship should feel easy. At least that's.
Find someone that you truly love for who they are as a person, and everything else will fall into place.
Oh,
That's
good
good.
advice.
See, he's good at
Beautiful.
Hey now.
Down, bring it in.
Thank
Thank you guys
Yes.
so much.
Okay, guys. Well, listen. Thanks again for coming, and we will be right back with
We'll be
more
right back.
for Love and Chocolate. This podcast is being brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher Chocolates of Switzerland. Beverly Hills Toysher at 371 North Camden Drive in Beverly Hills has been serving up truffles, pralines, dipped fruits, marzipans, and our world-famous chocolate bars for over 40 years. So, next time you're in Beverly Hills, why don't you come by and visit or shop online at beverlyhillstoysher.com.
Well, Mr. Truffles, that was so much fun.
Oh, God, I adore them.
They were so sweet.
They're so amore.
Amore.
Is it just me, or do you also feel like just getting a beautiful bowl of spaghetti marinara and a fantastic bottle of wine?
And enjoying it under the magical moonlight?
Yes, celebrating love, life, and laughter under the magical moonlight.
Well, thanks for joining us for yet another episode.
Yeah, and we will be back again next week for more adventures in love and chocolate. But until then, say goodbye, Mrs. Truffles.
Goodbye, Mrs. Truffles.
This show is brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher Chocolates of Switzerland, home of the world's first and finest champagne truffles. Join us next week for more adventures in everlasting love.